Hello everyone, it is Liam, the Deputy Metalhead, and I'm doing a collection update today, first one of the year, and a lot of these I got very early December, and some of these are even Christmas presents, but the main reason I wanted to do this video is because I got some gifts just before Christmas and just after Christmas from people I wasn't expecting anything from, and I kind of wanted to show them off on this video and thank them in person without seeing them in person, if that makes any sense. So I'll kick off straight away with some books for a change. These is what I got for Christmas. Every year I ask the missus for some like heavy metal inspired reading so I can ignore the kids and the wife and just kind of shut myself away. And I asked for the new Doom lexicons. Can't pronounce it properly. This is the first edition. This has been out a little while. These are all done through what's it called? Cult That Never Dies, which is a UK company that makes amazing like heavy metal literature, and then you can get CDs, vinyl, mostly black metal from those guys, but it's really hard to find some of the records they have on sale sometimes, so when you go on there it's amazing. So if you haven't checked them out before, I'll obviously leave a link below and you can do it yourself. But this is the first edition, which focuses heavily on Doom, traditional Doom, stoner Doom, that kind of thing, and it is pretty much an A to Z of all the bands that the author can think of. And yeah, really interesting read. More for the being a nerd, really. If you're into the kind of music I like, this is really helpful for like kind of discovering new music. And this year, well, should I say last year, they brought out the second edition, which focuses on the heavier side of doom metal, which is more my cup of tea. So this is volume 2. Similar sort of artwork, which is amazing. Both hardbacks. The first one was only paperback before, so you can now get them both on hardback. And yeah, an amazing collection of bands. The only disappointment I had was my band wasn't in there, but I'm only joking. But reading through this one, you might recognise a certain band. Enchantment, there's a good little read up on them. There's Coffins, there's all sorts of esoteric, any of the big names or someone or one of the bands that's played a key role in the kind of doom movement is mentioned in these books. So I'll leave a link below so you can go check them out for yourself. They are very long reads though, but well worth it. So, just before Christmas, if you lived in the UK, you would have known to get certain 2 albums, i.e. these two, you had to be really hot off the mark to pick them up. Because in the States, it's a fairly bit easy. You got 20 bucks spins, quite a big label. But these were being put out through Dry Cough Records, and they only had a limited number. And this one especially was very much in demand, which is obviously the new Worm release, if you didn't know that. Dream Unending. So I was talking to Paul from Enchantment, who I just mentioned, who I've gotten to know really well over the last couple of years. I haven't actually met him in person yet, but I've spoken to him online loads and loads of times. He's helped me out, loads of advice. Been in a band for over 30 years, he has his experiences, he knows what he's talking about and how the market works. Even though they haven't done anything for a number of years, he's still part of that scene and has grown up with it. And he's been a real inspiration for me personally, and tape collecting has helped me out with that. And he happened to message me just to say, look, Dry Cough are dropping these albums on, I think it was the Thursday or something like that, unannounced. Be ready for it. And I said to him, I couldn't afford to at the time because I wasn't paid at that point, and by the time I would have been paid, I would have lost them. They would have been long gone. And I said, it's fine, I don't mind. It's how it works for most collectors. But he kindly said, I'll buy them for you, and then you can pay me back. Which, considering I've never met the bloke before, was amazing. So hopefully you should see a picture here of him, and if you ever wondered what happened to Right Said Fred, you'll know what. But yeah, and then he sent me I sent him a message when I got paid saying, can I pay for the stuff, send me your PayPal details, and he said no, and I ended up receiving a package of goodies. Now there should be a picture up here with some artwork that he did for me, which I thought was really funny, and he's actually on the wall here in the cave right in front of me. The wife also thought it was fucking hilarious. But he sent me some really cool releases. Some of them a bit random, but some of these are really, spot on for me. So the first one is Carach Angren. This is their latest album that came out a couple of years ago. Literally 2020, yeah. Through Seasons of Mist. Now, if you don't know who this band is, it's kind of a theatrical black metal tinged with death metal. And then you got the kind of neoclassical kind of stuff on there, especially with the keys. It's very theatrical, like I said, symphonic, I guess is the word you could say. But what I love about this band is they are borderline blackened death metal, especially nowadays, but they have that King Diamond storytelling vibe to them. So all the songs are based off like a theme, like a horror theme, like King Diamond does with a story, and the songs are built that way. And to me, they're quite a unique band. You know, there's not really anyone that sounds like these guys. You could probably say they sound like a few, but they're a Dutch band. And he sent me this blue tape here. Sounds amazing. It's a really, really good album. I didn't even realise this even had come out. I haven't listened to these guys for years. I completely forgot about them. But I used to listen to one about a soldier trying to hang himself, and I thought it was fascinating, and the music was brilliant. So yeah, a really, really cool listen, that one. Then he sent me this demo here. This is a Desert Wasteland band. I will put the name of it here now. They are from Finland, and this is just simply titled Demo. Very much in the vein of early Carcass, Napalm Death. It's grindy death metal, very raw, very angry, very Finnish sounding, which I really liked. Very rough around the edges. Artwork is, you know, you never ever guess what it's going to be. The logo maybe, but certainly not this bit here. But because it's on Desert Wastelands Productions, I knew it was going to be heavy, and I wasn't disappointed. And then he sent me these two CDs, one being Witchthroat Serpent, sorry. This is a French stoner doom band, and I've given this 2 spins now. It's very stoner doom, which isn't my go-to genre of doom, if I'm honest. It's probably the bottom of the pile, but you know, this sounds great through really loud bassy speakers, so it was quite fun to have it on. Nothing really different from what you expect from stoner doom. If you're into that kind of genre, you might even know who this band are already. But yeah, that was really cool. And then this one, are completely new to me, never even heard the name. I can't even pronounce it. But this is an Italian kind of groovy heavy metal band. They dip their toes in death metal, and then it sounds like Pantera, and it sounds like Mudvayne. It kind of goes between those 2000 era band genres. This came out through Time to Kill Records, which is an Italian label, as well as a few others there on the bottom, if you can see, which distro it. But yeah, I mean, I believe the last song on here was the heaviest one for me. But some of these reminded me of my teenage years with a band like, I don't know, Powerman 5000, just one out pulling off the top of my head. Had that vibe to it. So yeah, some of the songs on here are utter shite, but you know, the last one was pretty heavy. So yeah, thank you, Paul. Really do appreciate that. He already knows that because I've told him it 100 times, but what a fucking legend. So go support Enchantment. Link should pop above my head. Right, then I got another gift sent to me from another guy I've only just gotten to know recently. I've never met him in person, and that is Andreas, who fronts, well, he's the main man behind Vaticinal Rites. This is a northern UK death metal band. This is their latest CD offering of their EP. I have the tape back there. This is like a maxi CD, which is really cool. So I've been blasting this in the car. Had this on the school run the other day, and the oldest quite liked it. It's a bit thrashy, pure UK death metal in my eyes, but it has a thrashy element which a lot of them don't have, which came out last year. So that kind of stood out for me, and the production is mint on this. Really, really cool production. And yeah, brilliant band. But then he said to me, I've got some tapes I'm having to clear out, do you want them? Do you mind just paying the postage? I was like, of course. You know, for £4 I got 3 quality tapes, you know, which is amazing. So the first one is MindEater with Mocking the Light. Now these guys, I believe, are an American band. Yeah, Texas death metal band. This came out in 2020 through Life After Death. Yeah. And this is fucking awesome. This is the pick of the bunch for me. This is brilliant. Really heavy, no nonsense Texas death metal. So if you like bands like, I don't know, Frozen Soul, Tribal Gaze, all that kind of thing, you know, you're not going to go wrong with these guys either. Very similar style, just no nonsense death metal. Really enjoyed that. And this one was a little bit of a struggle, but you know, I still enjoyed it. This one's Corpse Garden with that album title. Now, this band is from Costa Rica, and it's kind of like proggy, spacey, trippy death metal. It goes all over the place. It was put out through Gods of War Productions, which is a Polish record label, and I believe there's a vinyl and CD version of this. And yeah, really interesting listen. This was the hardest one for me to get into. Originally I was just like, what the fuck is this? Very different, but once you get your head around it and you listen to it a few more times, it's really, really good. So yeah, that was cool. And then the last one was a band I was aware of, but I haven't heard this release. So they're kind of a sludgy doom band from the States, and that is Body Void, if you can see it properly. and this is their EP called You Will Know the Fear You Forced Upon Us. This was a Dry Cough Records release a good number of years ago, I think 2017, maybe a bit later than that. But they just put out a new album last year, which I've yet to listen to in its entirety, but I really like these guys. They've got a really good guitar tone, it's very heavy, very thick. There's death metal elements in there, but it's essentially just really sludgy, doomy, horrible music. So yeah, really, really grateful for that, Andreas. So if you watch this, thank you, mate. Go and support Vaticinal Rites, fucking awesome band. So yeah. Right, so these are I've all bought myself, so there's no more gifts, but there's a competition entry, prize winning thing. But I picked this up just before Christmas. This is Decrepid's Devoted to Death, put out through, I think this is their own label, Raise the Dead Records, because all their merch is on there, nothing else. So I'm assuming they've just gone down the road of doing their own label. But this features tracks that have been put out before by the band. They're a London death metal band. They've been around a number of years. But the tape looks like that, which I thought was quite snappy. And yeah, Consecration have played at least 2 gigs with these guys over the years. One being Desert Fest, I believe, with Cancer. So the last time I saw them was when we played with Cancer as well. But yeah, really cool, no nonsense death metal band. They put an album out in 2020 through, I think it's Extreme Music in Spain. Really good band, so go check them out. I really like them. Now this next one is a bit controversial because I've seen this in loads of end of year lists, but I didn't really rate it that much, and I'm not sure if it's me or, I mean, I've listened to this at least 4 times now to try and get my head around it, because I can't understand why so many people featured it so high. And that is the latest Carcass album, Torn Arteries, put out through Nuclear Blast. Now I saw this at number 1 spots. I've seen this in so many top 10s, top 20s, and I assumed I was going to really enjoy it, and I picked this up for a steal. This went down to £6 on Amazon, so that's why I picked it up, because I kind of sampled it on Spotify and I didn't really hear anything too different from what I can't remember what the previous, Surgical Steel was the previous one, and I liked that album a lot. It had its moments where it was a bit dull, but in all it was a really good album. But this one, it feels like a compilation album of all their efforts. So if you to tell me there's stuff from Swan Song, there's stuff from the really early albums, and then right up to the new stuff, I believe you, because it's very much, it's death and roll for the majority of it, and then there's some really grindy, nasty, old school sounding Carcass parts, and there's the more melodic death metal side of it, keeping in Heartwork, that was the album I was trying to think of. But yeah, it's okay. It doesn't stand out. I mean, the production's great, the vocals, everything is spot on. The vocals, now, what I say is they sound a bit flat throughout the whole album. It just kind of sounds the same. It doesn't really change it up too much. Guitar work is flawless, but again, the riffs aren't standing out to me on this album. They don't stick in my head. It just sounds like a whole compilation of Carcass songs just chucked on an album from different eras of them. I mean, I wouldn't even tell you a standout track really. I mean, it's all a bit meh. So yeah, a bit disappointed with that one. I thought it was going to be better than that, but there you go. Don't shoot me. This is another one I picked up just before Christmas, the latest album from Thorn, called Crawling Worship, put out through Life After Death Records as well. This, I had mixed reviews from other people. Some people loved it, some people didn't like it at all. I enjoyed this a lot. I had it on in the car quite a few times, and I've had it on in here obviously. And yeah, a solid album. Doesn't really branch out and does anything amazingly different from the usual death doobie kind of death metal. Just solid, really aggressive, very heavy. And yeah, I've got no complaints for this album at all. It's just one of those ones I can kind of put on and I'm comfortable, you know. It doesn't challenge me in any way. It's just a solid death metal album. Now this one was a prize winning all the way from Brazil. This came from Gus69, who has his own YouTube channel, which hopefully should pop my head. I'll be brutally honest, I forgot I even entered this competition and how I even entered it. But I won, and I won this, he sent me a load of stickers, flyers and this CD, which is a band called Mofo, with the album Sick and Insane. Now this is Brazilian thrash, and it's okay. It's not brilliant, and it doesn't rock the boat or any way, shape, form. It's not like early Sepultura, it's not like, I'm trying to think of them Brazilian thrash bands, Torture Squad, I quite like them. But these guys kind of sit in the ballpark of happy, bouncy thrash with a kind of don't know, I'm not a thrash expert, but there's certain, the vocal style is very much borrowed. There's a guttural kind of guy, and then a guy who does these really high-pitched banshee kind of noises that really kind of grate on me after a while. I wish he would shut up more and let the guy with the guttural vocals do it more, because it sounds better to me. But that's just probably my preference as a death metal kind of guy. But yeah, I mean, it's just generic thrash to me, if I'm being brutally honest. It's not something I put on regularly. I mean, it's alright, and we had it on the car on the school run again. I do that a lot with my kids, kind of force them to listen to CDs I need to listen to, unless they've got shitloads of swearing on it, then I obviously don't. I'm not that much of a bad parent, but this was okay. It was just background music, really. And an album that I imagine none of you lot maybe have heard, if unless you're South America, you probably know about it. But yeah, a solid thrash album. If you're into thrash, I would recommend it to you because it is very thrashy. Right, next is a Finnish alternative, rocky, doomy kind of band. These guys, again, are not your usual, well, not my usual go-to. I mean, I heard this band years ago, and I really enjoyed this album. And when I was shopping the other week, just before Christmas, for my brother in a record store, I found this for a steal. And that is Sahg 1. This came out through Regain Records back in 2006. They've since done, I think, 4 or 5 albums. I think they're on the 4th album now. But this is the first time I ever heard from these guys, just as I finished college. And yeah, really good album. If you like your, it's doomy, but it's also a bit alternative rocky kind of vibe to it, a bit gothic as well. It is not a band you expect something that I would listen to. So if I say to you I like death doom, I like death metal, I like really aggressive doom, it's none of that at all. It's more doomy, kind of hard rocky. It's weird to describe because I don't know enough other genres outside my go-to genres to kind of give it justice in the description. So go and listen to a track below what I've linked and you tell me what you think. My favourite track is Godless Faith and The Executioner Undead. They're all solid tracks, but even if you don't like doom, this is kind of like hard rocky almost. There's no guttural vocals, it's all clean singing, so you can actually understand the words to some of the older folk that watch my videos who don't like the guttural stuff. So yeah, go check that one out. And lastly, excuse me, a brilliant album that I was gutted. I did my end of year list, and then the very next day, like I said on that video, it turned up, and that is the latest from Malignant Altar. This is powered through Dark Descent Records, and the album is called Realms of Exquisite Morbidity. And this album is shit hot. If you like death metal, you'll like it. But what separates it from all the other death metal albums that have come out in the last 12 months, say, is the drumming on this is fantastic. It is amazing. Like I said in my end of year list review, the drummer, who is called Dobber Beverly, he's an absolute fucking machine. He plays in bands Oceans of Slumber, and I imagine he's in a black metal band as well. But he's got like a jazzy element to him, but he's also super fucking technical, and it's brilliant because the riffs on here are good, but without the drums they don't really go anywhere. The drums is what carries this album. The vocals are spot on as well, but the drumming makes your ears kind of think, oh okay, because he'll put certain beats in that kind of throw the groove off. So when you start thinking you're in a certain ballpark of that riff, it changes it, and he does it throughout the whole album. There's the certain pings on the cymbals he does, the double kicks and the variation on the rolls. Everything keeps you, guessing of what he's going to do. So after 3 or 4 listens, you kind of know what's going to happen. But the first time you hear this, you'll be like, wow, instantly. It draws you in with that drumming. It's absolutely insane. So go check this out if you haven't, because it's really, really good. And their EP was brilliant, and hopefully I'll actually be sent a copy of that, but I won't reveal that until I see that. But a fucking amazing band. So yeah, Malignant Altar. So if you've stuck with me, thank you very much for watching this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I've had loads of new subscribers recently, and I'm really, really grateful, because it still confuses me how that's happened, because I haven't really done anything amazing to earn it. But I am really, really grateful. And like I said, this year I'm not going to focus on new releases so much as I did last year, because last year I went absolutely mental. But I've got lots of commitments this year. One being get a new car, because it is on its way out and I need a car to get to work and kids and all that kind of shit. So I can't be buying shitloads of vinyl and then kind of Fred Flintstoning myself to work. So that will be a thing. But I'm still going to do the UK death metal series. I really enjoyed doing that. and that isn't hard to save for because UK bands don't cost fuck all on shipping. And you know, I'm going to try and do some different kind of style videos later on, but we'll see how it, you know, pans out. But for now, you can have this bulk standard collection update. So please take care, and I'll speak to you guys in the comments. Cheers.